autumn. I'm working my way through the garden, gathering up the last of the harvesting before I decide to put the garden to bed for the winter. And now the nights are drawing in and the temperatures are dropping a little cooler. It's time to harvest these grapes. There aren't as many as I had last year, but those I can get will still taste delicious. Unfortunately, I can't remember what variety of grapes these are. They've been here for several years. They're little tiny bunches with grapes the size of currants, but they're sweet and grape flavoured and delicious. And most importantly of all, I grew them myself. So that's it, all the grapes I'm going to get this year. So not a huge abundance, but I grew them myself and they taste delicious. So I will enjoy every mouthful. So now it's October and the cold nights are here. A lot of the squash leaves are dying back and the sunflowers are definitely past it. But now the plants are dying back, I can harvest the squash. I picked the gigantic pumpkin squash the other day. It's back at the house. It's huge. But I also see one of these squash plants is growing another huge squash, slightly different to the peachy orange ones I've already got. A nice delicata squash. We'll add that one to our basket. Let's go and see that big squash I was telling you about. Right round the back. Can we get there? Oh, I'm getting tripped up. There we go. Oh, before we go actually, can we see? This week I've been busy preparing this space to be next year's outdoor growing of squash and sunflowers. I already started a few weeks ago laying a thick layer of grassy mulch on this top strip, and that will be a planting space. Then here I'm going to have a path, and next to that another planting space. So this big sheet of black plastic will suppress any growth of weeds and grasses through the winter and give me a nice clean start for next year. Just behind it is where the pumpkins and sunflowers have been growing this year. Now let's go and see that big one like I promised. So round the other side of the pumpkin patch. Oh, I have that orange one today as well. Where are we? There. We've got this enormous yellowy squash. The ones I've already harvested are a peachy orangey colour with a rough knobbly bobbly skin, and this is really smooth and shiny and pale yellow. So I'm going to leave it for a few more weeks. Well, I'm going to leave it till either its stem gets munched by slugs or the leaves on its plants start dying off. It was quite a late grower, so I'm going to give it a chance to mature a little more on the plant, just for the next week perhaps, because its leaves are still looking nice and green. I will have this orange one though. A Turk's turbany sort of a squash with a lovely orange mottledy colour. It's crazy. Lots of the squash plants are dying off in our cooler nights, but this one has lush green leaves and it's even putting out a flower. Makes no sense to me. Some are dying and done for, and some are just starting to put on a spurt of growth. They're growing right next to each other, but here, this one's Got nice new lush green growth at the end of its long curly tendrils. Ooh. This one's putting on a spurt of new growth. I don't expect we'll get much of a frost here till after Christmas. But even so, it still gets cold at night. These nasturtiums are giving us a last minute flash of colour. Oh, and the sun shines out. Squinty squint. Wonderful. And this verbascum did manage to get chance to flower. It's very late in the season though. Now it really is taller than me. It's crazy. And something's been eating its leaves. Little holes and munchies all over the place. Not too many, but something's been hungry. Another harvest today. 2 tiny baby cauliflower heads. Now although they're very small and I could leave them to grow bigger because they'll be fine in the cold winter weather, I'm going to take these now. This one's already had a little graze on the top, but not too bad. But at the moment this one's looking absolutely perfect and clean and lovely. So I'm going to have it before the slugs move in with this nice damp weather we're getting. Fighting the caterpillars all summer and the slugs all winter. Here in the polytunnel it's still quite warm, especially when the sunshine gets out. But today I shall harvest the last of the tomatoes. The plants will probably continue to produce and ripen for a few more weeks still. But with the shorter days and the cooler nights, the fruit they produce doesn't quite have that same sweet summer sunshine flavour. So today is going to be the last tomato harvesting day. And after that, when I get time, I shall be ripping out all the plants and putting them in the compost, ready to start afresh next year. Oh, and a few extra physalis from in here too. A delicious late season fruity treat. Not a bad little end of season harvest. Grapes, some squash, the last of the tomatoes, and the beginnings of the physalis, because they will carry on fruiting right through till Christmas. I won't get many, the plant's not that big, but I like them, they're delicious, and I'll enjoy every mouthful. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. And remember, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it. Hello, back again. I thought we'd finished. And I walked into the house and saw the enormous pumpkin I harvested a couple of days ago and forgot I was going to show you. So here it is, enormous pumpkin I harvested a couple of days ago. This is the one I harvested in my previous video, and here's its slightly bigger, heavier friend. In fact, it's a lot heavier. I haven't had them on the scales, but I can barely pick this one up. I needed the wheelbarrow to get it into the house. It's massive. Also, as I was leaving the garden, I noticed the artichokes had come into flower. So decided I would have a bunch of those to brighten up the house. They're Jerusalem artichokes, and you can eat the root tubers, and they do taste delicious. But they have the nickname of farty chokes because they do indeed make things quite windy. So I tend not to eat them, although they do taste lovely. I grow them for their flowers. They don't have many, but it is late in our gardening season and it's nice to have this autumn splash of colour. So truly, that's it for today, and we'll see you next time. And as always, remember, whatever you're doing, have fun doing it. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click that like button and let me know. Click subscribe and YouTube will make sure you see my next video. So bye for now, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, Whatever you're doing, have fun doing it.